I know everybody has different schedules, but it just seems to me you play. You could have found a more difficult place to go, maybe up in Alaska. But I mean, you're playing on the West Coast, a game that started after most people on the East Coast had gone to sleep. Now you're back, and then you have a road game. I realize there's not much you can do about that, but does that how do you deal with that though, knowing it's a little bit uneven getting back who knows when on Sunday?
Oh, it was pretty wild. Yeah, we we got back, and then we started coming back. Then we had fog, so we circled around. Then after circling around, we went ahead and went to Birmingham. Then once we got to Birmingham, we waited for another crew. Then once the other crew got there, we landed in Starkville probably around 10:30 a.m. or so. So it was over the river and through the woods for sure. You just kind of line out your tasks and put one foot in front of the next. And so we, had our meetings later on Sunday, but it was still a jam day, no question. And one thing I thought our guys did lock in and push through that portion of it.
Coach, it's always difficult for pundits, of course, whatever we know or what maybe we don't know, to look at a team when they play a lot of the early games and figure out what's going on. But, I mean, you played two very credible programs. Do you feel a little more advanced by heading into the first SEC game than maybe in other years, considering you've had a pretty good sample of your team?
Yeah, maybe. I felt like we've had to play the whole game, so there was no resting anybody really. And then but I did think we took a step each week. So I guess that's the biggest thing that I felt good about. And then of course, LSU's loaded up with all kinds of guys that, in the whole recruiting sphere. When all these guys were coming out, people couldn't attach enough stars to them or say their name enough times to get a good taste in their mouth. And so, here they all are piled up. So, they put together kind of an all-star team down there. So we'll see how it goes,
Yeah, I mean, you have won down there. I think it was was it your first game? I'm trying to remember. I think it was your first game at Mississippi State 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Not a bad. So, I mean, I know you're probably the last guy to get hung up on stuff like that. Yeah, but
well, because all you can do is control yourself, and you just try to do the best you can do. Try to be the best player, best coach you can be. Because and if you get too caught up in the clutter, then and worry about what you can't do, then it distracts from what you can.
Coach, you now have, as I alluded, you've got a good sense of this team. There are some out there who are starting to really, wag the tail a little bit on your team. I mean, do you feel like this is the type of team, and you'll know more Saturday, but do you feel like this is the type of team that could really have a big time of year? Seems like that.
Well, we got to get better each week, and we got to take it one at a time. And then the one thing about this team is just going down our schedule, we'll be tested virtually every week.
Coach, I meant to ask you a minute ago, but I wasn't sure we had you. But this trip back, which took the entire night, when you're sitting there, I know we all want a little more time to do whatever we have to do. But when you're sitting there fretting about somebody picking you up or getting in or landing, can you do real work? I mean, what happens during that seemingly endless time for a coach who has limited amount of time every week to prepare? Can you do any real work while you're trying to get back from the other end of the world, so to speak?
Well, usually from coming in from a game, the first thing is you'll have a bunch of texts. So while you're sitting on the bus, you'll hammer through those, and you hope that the security process is not ridiculously onerous, and then try to get through that as quickly, and then there'll be food on the plane, so you try to eat that because you haven't eaten for like 5 hours. And then, but it's airplane food, so don't get too excited about it. So I don't end up eating that much. Sometimes I eat stuff out of my bag instead. And then, well, then I kind of do a combination of get on the stats, which going through that helps me kind of see how the game unfolded and how we responded. And then, they have these iPads, so we'll try to watch the previous game, which that gets you a step on the next day. Then after that, sleep as much as you can, but as you're getting announcements that you're doing circles in the air, you're going to Birmingham, and maybe this, maybe that. Well, then you try to sleep, and some people are better at it than others. Through a massive amount of practice, I would like to think I've become average, which means that basically you lay there half awake with your eyes closed. But every little bit helps at this point. And then get home, take a nap, and then, you're back at it, firing both barrels,
Coach, when this may be a stupid question, but when do you feel normal again, or do you ever feel normal again after something like that?
I don't know what normal is per se. You kind of you just go from one task to the next. In my case, I try to just fully immerse myself in whatever task is in front of me.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.